Good morning, afternoon, and evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to my Week 15 reviews of CFL action. We got 4 games here, some pretty interesting ones, some surprises, and without further ado, we'll get right into it. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe if you haven't already, and yeah, we'll get right into it with the first game, which is Hamilton versus Toronto. Alright, so Toronto would secure the top spot in the East with this victory. Toronto, who led the majority of the game, to be honest, it kind of was another situation of a team kind of turning on the Jets a little too late there for the Hamilton offense. Really didn't start clicking until, at the very least, the second half, and then more specifically the fourth quarter, in which they would sadly, in the very last play of the game, give up quite the interception to Toronto to make this game 31-12. I thought that the Toronto defense was very strong throughout the pretty much entirety of this game. Only gave up 1 touchdown to the Hamilton offense. Pretty good offense, especially their throwing core. So I thought that was quite good. And I thought the Hamilton offense was just bad. Like, they really, they all looked like they didn't even know each other until the fourth quarter, until they really started to get in sync and whatnot. And they just couldn't do much. And, and this is kind of one of the things that I'm going to be going on a little bit about today, is that the lack of, now you see it a bit more this week than you do other weeks, but it's something that I felt like I haven't said enough yet. The lack of ambition among some quarterbacks in this league, in the sense of the amount of times that, because you have to remember, it's 3-down football. It's not 4-down football, so you got to make more ambitious plays, some of those stretch throws, because that can sometimes be the difference maker. Sure, they're a bit more risky to do, but when you have 1 less down to do it, and you kind of have to force that a little bit more, force pressure on those DBs. Sure, occasionally they're going to pick one off, but, it is what it is, and I think if this week is an example for anything, it's an example that those ambitious plays are worth it when you got the right QB in the back there and you got the right O-line protecting them. So, anyways, but we'll get more into that with these next games. So with the next game, that will be Calgary versus BC. Alrighty, so Calgary would win this game 33-23. Bo Levi Mitchell was in. I wasn't sure if they'd have him play or Mayer based on last game. And one of the things that I noticed, and I just talked about this, was the Calgary offense was one, in my opinion, of the 2 offenses this week that were a lot more ambitious than we normally see in the CFL. And it paid off. It totally did. They had some big drives, and even if they didn't necessarily score a touchdown, those ambitious plays were the difference between getting either crappy field position or great field position, or even getting a field goal. If you can get even just field goals each play like that, you're slowly kicking up the score there. That's good. That's fine. I thought it was a pretty even first half, to be completely frank. And Begelton would have his first game back for the Stampeders. He had a fantastic game. I believe he caught 2 touchdowns, I want to say. I know he for sure got 1. But he was on the other side of a lot of those ambitious throws by Bo Levi Mitchell, and he definitely sealed it in there for them. So great to see players come back from injury, because is there a chance we're going to be playing the Stampeders? Of course, yes, but you hate seeing players injured. You want to. At the end of the day, everyone just wants to play football. Everyone wants to have fun. Hate to see guys get injured, so great to see him back. Great to see him healthy. Anyways, Calgary, like I said, would win 33-23. And that'll bring us into our next game, which is Winnipeg versus Montreal. All right, so the Bombers would lose, something you don't very often hear this year. But I'm not exactly surprised, as they kind of did exactly what I thought they'd do. They pulled out the vast majority of their starters. I was excited. I remember going into this game, it's like, yes, we're going to finally see Shaq Cooper in the lineup. How's that going to go? He was terrible. I'm sorry, Shaq Cooper was the worst today for the Bombers. He was the worst bomber on the field today on that game. And oh boy, that was bad. You know, people are shitting on McGuire. And I understand why, but you have to remember that this guy's still young. He had moments of greatness. I didn't see any moments of greatness with Shaq Cooper tonight. And you know what? He is, I believe, a 2-time 1,000-yard receiver. Like, come on. Like, I'm sorry, I'm confusing him with Roosevelt. No. But the point is that Cooper had quite the reputation, and he didn't uphold any of it. You know, he was fumbling on the ball. And you know what? I understand when I hear people say, oh, it's the rain, it's this, it's that. I get it. When I played football, I played center. I had to snap between my legs with the rain. Trust me, it sucked. It was definitely a lot more difficult than standard weather conditions. But you have to remember that the Montreal Alouettes are playing with the same conditions. So that is not an excuse, because Montreal was not dropping those like we were. With the exception of that very first play of the game where they did and they gave us great field position and got a touchdown. With the exception of that one, which it did cost them. But the point is, Shaq Cooper dropped like 3, and he recovered for sure 1, possibly 2, but that's still giving up a lot of field position. You know, those are mistakes that cannot be made. And it's funny though, because like I think the Montreal Alouettes should be proud of the way they played. I think they played a great game, but I think they also have to remember this Bomber team was nerfed to hell. Like I saw one guy say like, oh yeah, this shows that Paster's starting QB. What are you guys? I'm like, what is any team in the CFL past their starting QB? I mean, there are not many teams in the CFL where you take out their starting QB and they're still going to be a really strong team. You know, it just shows how big the QB is in a factor of the team. But yeah, Montreal played great. They'd win by 14 points, 28-14, and that'll bring us into our last game, which is Edmonton versus Saskatchewan. All right, so Saskatchewan would win this game, but the Edmonton Elks, one hell of a fight. You know what? If I played on the Elks, I would be proud of this game, because I think Edmonton played a great game for the team that they have. I thought that Fajardo played a great game, and I thought that Fajardo and the Saskatchewan offense were the second ambitious offense this week, along with Calgary. Some of those long throws that really made a difference in this game. I think only one of them did get picked off, but it is what it is. But the thing is that even when it gets picked off, when you're making a throw that far, you've still pushed them back quite a bit. Not as far back as you would say in a punt, but you still push them back a decent amount. And unlike a punt, you actually have a chance at receiving it, because that's the point. Cornelius is in, and I think this was a very interesting move. I was expecting Arbuckle to go in after last game with Cornelius. Especially since they traded for Arbuckle. I really don't know why they traded for Arbuckle, because it really seemed like they were going to make Cornelius the guy when they had him leave, but then they trade for Arbuckle, so you're now thinking, wait, are they going to have Arbuckle be the guy, or are they going to have him be backup? Like, it's kind of confusing, because you would assume when they traded for him that they weren't trading him to be a backup, but it kind of looks like that as Cornelius has been in. But you know what? I think this game is a strong case for Cornelius to really keep that spot. Because, yeah, I don't know. Overall, he had a pretty good game. I don't know. I thought he was throwing a lot better than he usually was. So, I mean, yeah, so no real rhyme or reason past the fact that he just had a good game. Nothing really specific. But yeah, with Saskatchewan would barely sneak out with the win with this one, 29-24, only a 5-point difference, which for the Roughriders and the Elks is that is a very close game. So, anyways, that's pretty much all that we have for this week. I'm going to be almost immediately doing my week 16, the last week of the season, previews of CFL action. So please check that out. That will be coming out like right away, and I will see you guys next time.